Word. We are going live. Got it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. The infamous STK surviving the Knicks.
Let's go.
Live in the building. All right. We got Wall Street Hek in the building. What's going on, Wall Street?
Chilling, man. Hanging in.
All right. He's on daddy duty time right now. So he's going to be a little subdued. Exactly. But it's all right. That's what we're all about. We're about taking care of business. unlike the hometown team as of late. We got Ed Dollars in the building. What's going on, Ed?
What's up, boys? I'm just I'm surviving the Knicks, man. You know, I'm seeing all this news on the NBA. Halliburton getting traded for like DeMontis. I'm thinking that we could get in that trade. All these other blockbuster trades, McCullough, and we're just losing, and more losing. Tibbs is playing his RJ 50 minutes, sprained ankle while we're like up 20 points, while we're down 20 points. It's bad all around, man. I'm glad to be on the podcast, though.
And last but not least, we got Coach B, NYC. What's going on, Coach?
I'm gonna say I'm everybody's favorite, but you know that's a topic for another day. Definitely shout out to my boys. You know, 10-1 season or 11-1. I can't keep track of these days. But yeah, you know, home stretch playoffs next week. I'll either be very happy. The episode after, I'll be very upset. You know, we'll see what happens. But yeah, the home team is the home team, and I argued with one of my players recently on the bus back today. RJ is great, but it's not leading to success. So let's talk about it, man.
Mm-hmm. So before we begin, shout out to Coach B, NYC's was it JV or varsity?
Yeah, boys team? JV.
All right, that's right. When you got a winning swagger, you don't keep track of, you know, it's I don't know how many wins. And then we got Ed Dollars coaching the future WNBA stars up in Tarrytown.
Both great girls, TCBL 5-1.
There you go.
Number one in the division.
Somebody's got to win in this city, God damn it.
Oh, might as well be us, man. Might as well be us.
Right? And Wall Street is 8-1 in sleepy time.
Working on it.
Now.
Right. Undefeated at bedtime.
That's right. So here we go. So tonight, man.
By the way, guys, I want to tell you guys that I did have the pastrami sandwich. And my review of the pastrami sandwiches, you know what?
Don't do it.
It really depends on how it's made. All right. The pastrami was delicious, but the guy that made it for me put it on regular bread, wasn't toasted. Didn't give me lettuce, onions, tomatoes, nothing. Only mustard. I'm a sandwich guy. I need it toasted. I need everything a little extra along with the hot pastrami. But all in all, I give it I don't know.
Yeah, be careful the way you talk about pastrami sandwiches.
I'm about to say a little pause.
You get stabbed for that. You get stabbed on the train tomorrow morning.
Hey. You'll be end up in the trade. Shout out to the Indiana Pacers GM because he traded Sabonis and got like everything from the Kings. I was like when I saw Sabonis getting traded, I was like, damn, he's on the Kings. And then when I saw he got traded, I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, why didn't they just give up the Aaron Fox and a 1-up? Like, just do a 1-up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and listen,
that's how
you know, I mean, we could talk about this later, but De'Aaron Fox is like he's on the path where he's just the best player on the bad team at this point. I don't know if, you know, he's good, but how good is he if his teams aren't really winning? You know what I mean? And they had a team. They had a team. They traded the team to Indiana.
They made a lot of mistakes, though. The worst part of that trade is, number one, Domantas Sabonis is nice. He's an all-star. Yes. He's better than Randall. But the only problem is they are stacked at the big position, forward, center. Like, aren't they creating an issue with those guys? They got to trade like Bagley. They got to trade a bunch of other guys. And, you know, once upon a time, the NBA used to like mask its mistakes by trading players to not create more problems. Right. You know, they have Fox, they have Davion Mitchell, and they had Halliburton. And some say that Halliburton was the best of the three, but they gave Fox $160 million. They just drafted Davion Mitchell, and then they have Halliburton, which you're gonna have to pay in like 2 years. So I think that the management was like, you know what? Although he's a good player, we're gonna try to hide our other mistakes. But the league was shocked, man. That was a poor move by them.
Bad. That was a bad trade by Sacramento.
That makes them look terrible.
Like 2K won't let you accept that trade. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you gotta override
the
that.
AI will block that. Like, no.
And it's not, you know, in a bubble, DeMontis is better than Halliburton. But if you factor in his age, if you factor in Halliburton's contract, which is on a rookie deal, he can lock him up for 6 years versus you're gonna have to pay DeMontis like next year. And then the fact that you have all these other players on the roster.
He's not staying on the Kings. Let's be real.
And he just like recently talked about the culture of trying to bring winning culture to the Kings. Yo, that's a guy that you want to build around.
He's not staying on the Kings. Let's be real. You're supposed to say that when you get traded, because that's now basically everybody, the league is looking. They're like, okay, we're gonna get this guy. We can get this guy, and the Kings don't. Looking at what they traded to get him to me, I'd be looking at that as a sign of poor management, because you overbooked. You gave up too much to get him, because you didn't really, not to take away. Honestly, I was thinking the Knicks could have swung for him, and because he's the kind of guy that the Knicks would need, a steady 18-point, 12 rebound guy. Let RJ and Cam run around and quickly and Obi, let them run around. He plays a little center. Obi can get some more time. I mean, this is we're talking about in a different multiverse Tibbs. You know what I'm saying? Tibbs. We're not talking about this.
That's perfect. That is perfect. Multiverse
Pace in space, multiverse Tibbs. This is like,
like the what if
third Earth Tibbs.
Like if Tibbs had a regular coaching mind instead of somebody that's stuck in the 80s with Ricky Pierce and
he's running the triangle with Phil Jackson.
Right.
Tibbs is running the triangle with Phil Jackson.
But anyway.
Yo, how do the Knicks do it to themselves, man?
Listen,
never fail.
Let's get into it. The Knicks are 2-10 in their last 12 games. The only two teams they've beaten are the Kings and the Clippers. The Kings they blew out. The Clippers, they handed them. It was a good win against the Clippers for the most part. But I mean, when you look at they lost to the Hornets by 10, Timberwolves by 2, the Pelicans, they lost to them by 11, then lost to the Cavs by 2, which was a heartbreaker. The Heat was just disgusting. We talked about them in the last podcast. Then they lost to the Bucks, which if you lose to the Heat, you're definitely going to lose to the Bucks. Lost to the Grizzlies in a game that just was never really that close. Although I was happy with RJ's defense on Ja in that game. They were trying to push Ja and RJ was sticking him. RJ was guarding him for the most part. Even when he scored, he had to earn it. So, I mean, if they had to take something, the Lakers, they had the Lakers. I don't know what the hell happened. The Jazz.
That's another one. RJ had 36 points. Big bucket at the to tie it for overtime.
And then the laugher in the Nuggets. And I mean, are we really expecting the Knicks to beat the Warriors tomorrow? I mean,
no.
So
upset central. I'm calling it. Yes, we need one. It's been a bad road trip. I'm pretty sure none of the players are sleeping well because they keep getting their ass whipped. So yes, upset central.
So we're gonna start with you, Coach, because your optimism is needed right now. Coach, what is going on with the Knicks right now? Like,
same story all season. Being outcoached, being outplayed, better leadership on everyone else's team except for ours. It's a broken record, man. Yeah. Overall, I just it's great for RJ's development, to figure it out. At some point, it has to carry us to a victory. We can't wait for Derrick Rose to come back and be, our morale leader and, you know, and the driving force behind getting guys better and putting us in a better position to win. We have 4 guards that kind of play the point on rotation. You know, it's not working out. Fournier is getting decent, you know. He's effective with who he has on the floor with him, so that's great. But we traded for Cam. He's not playing. He's a talent, you know. Nerlens Noel, despite the fact he doesn't look the same.
Why is Cam not playing?
Mitch is okay, you know, like all the pieces we have scream something else, and then the result come the end of the game. Because, you know, like the start of the games are hit or miss. Some games you start good, some games you start bad, but there's always a push where we look decent and then flat. So I want to blame the coaching, but I'm gonna blame it on lack of leadership overall. Like somebody has to step up and free Kemba at this point. Like free Obi, please. Always free Obi, always free Kemba. Cam, you just got here. You gotta wait your turn. Like I get it, you wanted to play, but yeah, there's people ahead of you that haven't played that much either. So free them first. There's shackles out here, and I don't know who's coming on.
It's like this.
Crazy.
Oh my God, Ed Dollars.
Yo,
I think the disaster.
I think that it's a disaster because we put our faith in the wrong buckets. Last year was an anomaly. We said this a bunch of times. They were a hard working team. You had Alfred Payton run the point. You had his boy Randall doing everything. You had no expectations. You had no expectations. You had Reggie Bullock hitting threes on the side. You had Derrick Rose making it happen. This year, under the weight of the pressure and the expectations, Randall is folding. You know, he's still a good player, right? But he doesn't play well at the Garden because he can't handle the expectations. He's fighting the fans. He's fighting himself. He doesn't know whether he should shoot or pass. He's very indecisive. You got RJ that's trying to come into his own. He's kind of blocked in a sense by Randall. And then you have these pieces that unfortunately don't work. You know, you have bad coaching decisions, but why is Alex Burke the starting point guard? You know, you have the front office fighting with the coach. Why would you trade a piece to get and a first rounder to get Cam Reddish and not play him? The coach doesn't like him. Then you have Fournier, who's, you know, he's decent offensively, terrible defensively. And Kemba, unfortunately, I like Kemba. I like his smiles and things like that, but he's washed, right? He can only play like 20 minutes now. And he just doesn't fit with the rest of the cast. And then you have the bench. Unfortunately, quickly has regressed. He's going through a little sophomore slump. He's shooting like 29% the second half of the season. Obi's not getting enough time, and it's just a mess. And we're looking really bad. So we put our faith in getting Randall locked in for 4 years and solidifying some of the vets, Alex Burks, you know, Derrick Rose. We gave the bag to Noel in a sense, $10 million. Noel doesn't have any hands. He can't catch. He can't play.
Salary cap is going up, man. 10 million.
Ironically, the only one that's really, really playing well, like the best, Mitch Robinson. Right now he's leading the league in true shooting percentage. He almost had a double-double, 20 rebound, 20-point performance. It's just mismatched, and unfortunately, I'm at a loss for words. You know, we're at a point, we're at a fork in the road where, what do we do? And tomorrow we'll find out, right? If they're gonna buy and be buyers to see if they can get into the play-in game, we're number 11th we're 11th in the standings. We're fighting for a play-in spot, or are we just gonna try to sell off? I think that they mismanaged the assets. I think Leon Rose made a fundamental mistake by getting Tibbs as the coach. You know, we always kind of complain about Tibbs, but honestly, he deserves all the complaint. I mean, the guy, he coaches like, you know, we were in the 90s, the 70s. He coaches like we're back in the 70s. He has the horses. You have to let more players play. And management really, you know, they hung on to that 4th spot last year. And now it's a cascading effect of blunders. And you know, I think we have to start from the drawing board. The good thing is that from a asset perspective, we have a lot of draft picks. The contracts that we do have are manageable, but I think we got to start making some moves.
Yeah, definitely. Wall Street, give us some
Bring us the hot take
on this.
I think Ed touched up on pretty much everything, but and we talked about this last week, but I will disagree with him with, has Randall played, his best basketball? Absolutely not. But I wouldn't expect him to in the situation that he was put in. If I was Julius Randle, I'd be mad as hell. You just wasted a year of my life, And Ed touched on this. I just didn't think he was angry enough when he touched on it. When front office put Kimba and Evan, and they try. I remember when I saw those trades, the first thing that I thought, it was like, God, please tell me that this is our bench. Please tell me that we just now officially stapled our bench as, if you told me Kimba and Evan coming off the bench early on in the season to play with Alec Burke, I would have been like, man, our bench could be tough. And then we got Nerlens Noel and Mitch Robinson that you can kind of play back and forth. Man, our bench would be tough, But when you put them in the starting lineup, you just killed everything that made the Knicks the 4th seed. Everything that they were. You destroyed it when you put an undersized, veteran player that, to be frank with it, I'm upset that I drank a little bit of the Kool-Aid. I remember when we were talking about it, everybody was really excited. And I think I got a little bit excited too. I was like, yeah, maybe, with RJ Barrett, I thought that RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitch Robinson could anchor our defense and then make it so that that extra fighting power would actually help us. But it ended up, Evan Fournier is horrible. Every offense every game that we play, the offense is designed to just attack him. And he's absolutely horrible. I cannot believe that he has that kind of green light. His shots are they're disrespectful to the game of basketball. I can't stand watching it. I don't even care when he goes 3 for 3 or 4 for 4. When he's shooting the lights out, it doesn't impress me because it's you're a volume shooter. Julius Randle, for as much as you want to throw the blame on him, he commands double teams. And still today, as bad as he's playing, you bring in the double. They send in the double. And that's creating a lot of shots. So there's a lot of guys that can hit that kind of shot with that kind of space. And then the last factor is Tibbs, man. It's like you said, Alec Burke, a journeyman, is our starting point guard. When you got young guys that are showing that they can at least bring the energy. Me and Ed had a conversation a while back about basketball, and I was talking about how when you're starting your lineup, when I'm picking a guy in a spot, I want to pick you based on who you could defend. How can I call you my point guard when you cannot defend your typical point guard? You know what I'm saying? So when I look at a guy like Quickly, yeah, he's a shooting guard. He's a shooting guard. But I can't trust him every night guarding the twos around the league because of his size and weight and his quickness. So, I would love to grow Emmanuel Quickly at the one spot. He's bad. He doesn't dribble with his head up. He gets in the air to make a pass. But, we have a huge hole, and we have it at the 1 and at the 3. And I've seen management, they really try to fill that hole, but they went against the grain. They went against what the Knicks, the identity that the Knicks created for themselves last year to get into the 4th seed was destroyed. And it was, these two guys, and I'll just leave it at this, and I know I said this last week, these two guys just came off playing with Jason Tatum and what's his name, Brown, the other Celtic All-Star, Jaylen Brown. What makes you think that these two guys that could not uplift Jason Tatum and Brown are going to come in here and uplift Barrett and Julius? They didn't make Tatum better. What makes you think they're going to make Julius better? So, so I just think that, we went 3 steps back. I was hoping that we went 2 steps back. I think that we went 3 steps back. This season, the only thing that you can take out of this season, there's only one keynote that you can take from this season, and that's that RJ Barrett maybe grew a little bit as a defender and even as a scorer. But besides that, you know, we're not even gonna get into the playoffs like this. You know, we're probably gonna, and we're not gonna be in the bottom of the pack, so we're not gonna get a great draft pick. This season was an absolute wash. It was the worst season in the last like 10 years, man. It's horrible to watch.
I mean, 2015 was bad. 2015.
Yeah, but we knew.
2004, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but what he's saying is, at the very least, you know, we had benefits, right? We got Porzingis or whatever. You know, we got like the top draft picks.
You're right.
Saying that we're so bad.
He's not on the team no more. Like, yo.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if he's on a team. We can still trade him for an
over
asset.
Halliburton.
You know, but you know what's one of the differences between this season and some of our other bad seasons is that we really had no expectations. You know, it was supposed to, you know, even throughout the Carmelo Anthony years, at least you knew that we were going to get a show. We were going to get to see one of the greatest, you know, professional basketball scorers. You see how I said that? Not players. One of the greatest professional basketball scorers to play the game. But, you know, that's what we expected. And we got that on a nightly basis. It was a show. But now with these Knicks, we thought like, okay, are we, and what did we didn't think that we were going to, you know, compete for the East or get into the finals. No, but we thought that we were creating a foundation where I could say 3 to 5 years from now, there's going to be some guys that say, man, I want to go play in New York. But we just proved why, you know, to the other players around the league that got contracts expiring over the next 2 to 3 years, this season just shows you why you don't come play in New York, because you might end up with a 37-year-old Kemba Walker starting on.
Oh
horrible.
Man, yo.
Shout out to
the
his knees are 37.
His knees are 47.
Jesus.
He's washed, man.
Terrible.
He needs to be, you know, he could be okay if he had a reserve role playing 15, 16
So whose fault is it that he's starting?
It's Tibbs.
No, that's
Come
management.
on, man. Like,
yeah.
And whose fault is it that he's ineffective?
Tibbs.
Also, I would say Julius Randle, because he, you know, he be the main guy touching the ball. RJ is kind of new to the role, but you know what? Yeah, free Kemba, man.
You know what I was thinking, man? So we saw Denver yesterday, right? Yeah. You guys think Denver's gonna win a championship this year?
No, not at all.
Right, not at all. Denver's not gonna win a championship. You know how bad we were in relation to Denver? We were horrible as compared to Denver. We had some bright spots like every other NBA team, but we're not on that level. No. And they're not at a championship level. So we're like rock bottom. You know, if you're Leon Rose, how do you look at this product and be like, yo, I'm doing a good job? There's no way, right? There's no way he knows he's doing a good job. There's no way that he thinks that Tibbs is doing a good job. There's no way that he thinks that the contract he gave Randall was a good contract. There's no way that the contracts he handed out last year he thought was decent. You know, there's no way. The salary cap's going up, man. It went up a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, like that's it. Like
coach is so optimistic.
Around the league, we're
so optimistic.
Other people will be getting more money. Like we ain't doing that bad.
The only reason why we're not laughing like the worst team in the league is because Sacramento is with the Halliburton trade. But beyond Halliburton, everybody's like, "Oh, look at the Knicks. We're the 4th seed now."
The Lakers suck right now, but we're not gonna get into that. Like
they're gonna. People are like, "Oh, you guys should have did what Cleveland
beat the Knicks. The Lakers beat the Knicks, though. So I mean, you gotta look at it like this. Last year we started out. You know, remember the first night they lost to the Pacers last season. And we kind of said, okay, it's a marathon. And then, like Wall Street said, like Ed said, you know, we ended up buying into the Kool-Aid. They took the league, you know, they sucker punched the league because we didn't really think the Knicks would be that good. And then the hard-nosed play and defense is what really smacked people in the face. And they say, okay, oh, wow, they could play. And then they went against Atlanta in the playoffs, and the flaws were shown. The flaws came out. And instead of the Knicks building on whatever was successful, and like Wall Street said, you guys make great points. Evan Fournier and your man from the Bronx, should have been looked at. Okay, they're gonna fill the bench. They're gonna be our bench. You know, they're gonna fill the time between the end of the first quarter to midway through the third quarter, and he was hoping, you know, that would be that. But then
you give him $72 million bucks.
The thought that went out the window was like, well, exactly. The money played a factor into them starting, which they shouldn't have been starting. And now going away from what worked, now here we are. And you're looking at, you know, I mean, last night against Denver, you know, Mike Malone isn't an offensive genius, but you know that he has the knowledge of, listen, we have to be a more higher tempo offense. And you know, on paper, Denver isn't, outside of their center, outside of Jokic, they're not that much better than the Knicks, but they played better. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they just had their young guys were just killing the Knicks. I mean,
back cutting,
you know,
back cuts, everything.
I think the rookie, he dropped. He
pointed at him.
He
pointed at him.
And I'm just like, right. It was just like, wow. Like, this is where we're at. This is where we're at. Like,
as an older guy, I felt bad for Kemba. I was like, damn, Kemba, I've been there, bro. I've been there, man.
So, you know,
Kemba, you lost it. He got dropped,
man.
And then the young guy pointed at him. I was like,
pointed at him after he hit the shot because he was open for like almost 10 seconds.
Wait, he never become a star in the league, man. This is gonna be his best season. I don't care.
So here's my next question to you guys, because we got Kanal on the line tonight. He says to salute you guys.
No.
But he's asking, is it time to start thinking about tanking? What do you guys think? Is it time to start tanking? Because at this point, they got Cam, they're not playing him. Obi's getting like he's getting cheese line minutes at this point. I mean, it's like one night he gets 20 minutes, the next night he's getting 10. Like treating him like a second-rate player. Like he's so much better than what Tibbs is showing. And I don't know what's going on with that, but is it time to tank? You know what I'm saying? And what do you guys think? Wall Street. Let's start with you again. Wall Street, what do you think?
I don't know, man. I don't think that I'm biased because I don't believe in tanking. Mm-hmm. But you know, in situations like this is why you bring up the topic, because these are the situations, these are the places where you tank. You know, we still need a point guard. But yeah, man, I mean, it's as far, my whole theory is that, like, you know, if you're a coach and you're a player, that's kind of hard to do. You know, we still got a little bit of a foundation. So I would, you know, I wouldn't be, you know, if tanking means letting our young guys play more, then yeah, go ahead and tank. But, you know, I just want to see, the internal growth. I want to see us grow from within. You know, and we can't do that by, you know, bringing in washed out veterans and giving them the keys to the car. You know, it's great when you have them in key roles, in smaller roles, you know, but right now we have no rhythm. Like you guys were talking about Denver right now. And I like, Denver's a great team. They play together, man. They move the ball. The ball has energy. They always know where their teammates are, you know, and that's just not the case with the Knicks. That's why they're a world above us. So, you know, I would love to see us, I wouldn't say tank, but I would say, you know, I want to give the young guys minutes, man. I want the young guys working their tails off every night. And I want to see that growth from within. I believe that we have already on the roster the team that we need so that we can get better. It's just they're not playing together, and they're not getting the minutes. I don't think they're being coached properly. So, you know, tank, I don't know about tank, but let the young guys run, man, please. You know?
Definitely. Ed, what are your thoughts, man?
Gotta play the kids. I agree with Heck. It's gonna be really hard though, right? The key is, yo, Heck, Just.Hek, what's up with the Iron Man logo? What's happening?
Oh, my fault. I'm sharing the wrong screen.
This guy's watching Marvel while he's doing like the podcast.
I was sharing the NBA draft.
I agree. I don't like the words tanking. More so, I want the kids to play. I definitely want Cam Reddish to play more. I want
tank and no tank. Make up your mind, man.
I'm just saying. I want the young guys to play more. I want to see Jericho Sims, Taj Gibson. You got to sit out the rest of the season. Derrick Rose, I think they should trade him. Kemba, he should get waived.
Oh my
Alex
God.
Burks, I think they got to trade him. Evan Fournier, go back to the bench. And I think you got to see more of Deuce. You got to see more of Cam. You got to see, RJ's playing well, but you know what? He don't need to play 37 minutes. Reduce it about 30 minutes. Let the other guys kind of chip in there, and let's see what Quickly got. The starters got us to this point, and we're the 11th seed, and we're terrible. So let's see what the rest of the players can do.
And I mean, yeah, coach.
Tag me in.
You're in.
Yo, man, what is this play the young guys business like?
Play the kids, yo. Play the kids.
Like, slow your roll just a little bit. Taj, cool. You can sit on the bench the rest of the way. What is Jericho Sims gonna really do at this point in his career? Like, Mitchell Robinson is not gonna get paid. That's what we're saying.
No, like, I didn't say that. I said that Jericho Sims should be his primary backup. They should get rid of Noel. Do whatever you got to do to get rid of Noel.
Obi doesn't play enough to warrant any other big besides Obi touching the floor. That's priority. Get Obi on the floor. Cool. Let RJ do his thing. Cool. Quinn Grimes has established himself already. So cool. What is McBride going to do that is going to actually help us? Like, he has a lot of learning to do. So he needs to watch someone who can actually do the job. Now, granted, if the offensive system was something that was actually worth learning from as a guard, great. But like whatever crap we're running, it doesn't work because now the PG is basically like a catch and shoot guy. The PG is our 3-and-D, and it's like it just doesn't. It's not working. So trading Burks, I understand, even though he's the best player that fits Tibbs' mold. Honestly, like. Best case scenario, they trade for Alfred Payton and Reggie Bullock. Like, bring them back and let's see what happens. Like, at this point, you can't trust Tibbs to actually develop these guys. So, like, if you're putting Tibbs out there to say, yo, let the young guys play, it's never gonna happen because he gets an itch every time someone makes a mistake. You can see his face just like, ooh, I want to take him out right now. But like he plays his rotation, and it's ugly and it's disgusting, but. To say tank, it's not in Tibbs' nature. So no, I'd say ride the horses because there's literally nothing else to do. Like it's like beating a broken record. This man is beating his head against the wall with this same lineup, going out there every night, even though they're on a crazy road trip, knowing damn well that he's not gonna get his best effort from these guys. But he puts the same lineup out there. He keeps putting the same lineup out there. He's legit crazy. He gotta be crazy. So it's like, why are we talking about tanking with someone that doesn't see what we see? Like, yo, you're gonna ride these horses, go ahead, ride them. Like, we're not too far from the playing game, and a good stretch is always one game away. Yeah. I'm telling you, yo, upset tomorrow, man. Upset tomorrow.
Can I ask you something?
Curry's gonna get that above the rim treatment. Like, yo, go get that, man. Yo.
The only way the Knicks make the play-in game right now is because Washington falls out. Bradley Beal's out for the season, so unfortunately that's an opportunity for the Knicks. Washington's gonna kind of fall out. We're gonna fall into the 10th seed and maybe get into that play-in. Because of that.
You pay Fournier, you pay Julius Randle. As long as they're on the team, there's no tanking. It's not possible.
Yeah. And why are we running Obi Toppin like he's Kyle Korver?
Yeah,
like,
this time play Obi at the 3, man. Play Obi at the 3. I don't even care no more.
Why is Obi shooting the ball so much?
I don't know. I don't understand that at all.
Space.
Obi. Go to the rack. Throw lobs to Obi.
We're in the lottery.
Honestly speaking, this is the worst draft because honestly, none of
like
these
the Indiana
guys.
kid.
Paolo Banchero is probably the guy that may be something. Ty Washington is all right. Like you got a bunch of 3 stars in this draft. Like there's no 5 stars. Jabari Smith is maybe a 3.5 star. But these are guys that are gonna fill out every lottery team's bench for the most part. They're gonna fill out. They're gonna be coming off the bench because Chet Holmgren too skinny for the league. He's gonna have a. I can't see unless he does something miraculous or whatever. AJ Griffin again. He's gonna hit the bench. I mean, none of these guys are worth really, tanking for. Funny thing, before we get to the last question of the night, I'm watching. Hold on 1 second. I was watching Gary Payton's Vlad TV interview. I watched all 9 parts. I was in Brooklyn waiting for the train, and I'm like, and forget it. And I was just there like clicking because the train took forever. And watching Gary Payton talk, and he's old school. He's going through talking about his life, and it was a dope interview for the most part. He talks about getting drafted to Seattle, and he talks about how Seattle was telling them that they were going to tank to get Gary Payton. They were going to do everything they could to get him, right? And by the luck, because they didn't have the record to get him, but by luck of the draw, they ended up getting him. But he talks about how him and Sean Kemp weren't being developed under KC Jones. And if you don't know who KC Jones is a legendary coach of the early 80s Boston Celtics or the 80s Boston Celtics. He had Larry Bird, Kevin McHale. He had a crazy bet. He had a crazy team, Danny Ainge, legendary team. All right. But they talked about how KC Jones was the coach in Seattle at that time, and he was not developing them. So his first 2 years, he started to get considered as a bust because he just wasn't playing. And he said the best thing that happened to him was George Karl taking over the Supersonics. Between him and Tim Gergovich, who was a coach for UNLV at that time, with Tarkanian, who's another legendary coach. Hope you kids out there doing your history, learning your history at this point. But Gergovich made Kemp and Payton play, even though these guys were already 2 years in the league. He made them go to the summer game, to summer league, and made them work and develop. And then George Karl, when he came in, he was like, listen, we're going to develop you guys. We're going to play to your strengths. And that's when they started to win. Okay. And so I say that to say the root of evil within this Knicks team is the coaching. We got to look at the coaching. I mean, no, listen, F that. We've been looking at the coaching at this point. But at this point, it's almost like
enough is enough.
You got enough guys to develop. You got horses. The Knicks ain't had this many horses to me since Mark Jackson and Rod Strickland was battling for point guards for point guard minutes. You ain't had these many horses in a minute. You got Obi, you got Quickly, you got the
Quinn Grimes gets 25.
Grimes, you know what I mean? Like you got a bunch of horses in the stable, and yet you got a veteran journeyman off guard running your team. What is going on right now?
But it's not fair to him, right? Because Alex Burks is a good player. He's just miscast. He should be the 2 or the 3 and be in his role. But for him to be the starting point guard is just ridiculous.
It's hard. Yeah.
No, it's bad. So
now everybody wanted to get rid of Kemba. It's Kemba's fault.
It's Kemba's fault, dude.
He's
washed. Have you been watching the games? Can't play no more, man.
But he's not utilized properly. And again,
can't play no more.
I mean, he can play in limited minutes.
He played a 15-minute game.
Yeah, he can play in limited minutes.
Yo, watch Kemba go to the Suns, man, and help carry them.
He'll probably go to the Mavs. He'll go to the Mavs.
Now the Mavs are they're looking in a different direction.
I don't know, man.
All right, question for you guys.
Yes.
Do we trade some of all the guys that we've been talking about for Russell Westbrook.
What?
Oh,
That's in the Knicks universe.
That's a tank.
In fact, the Lakers have contacted the Knicks about trading Kemba, Fournier, and Burks, which match the salaries, and us taking Russell Westbrook.
Shooters.
He only has 2 more years on his
the Lakers are
contract.
going back to the front.
I'll take
like $65 million for those 2 years.
Because LeBron needs shooters.
Yeah, I'll take that just to get rid of. Yeah, that'd be great. Just to get rid of those guys. I mean, this is the first time.
Damn, bro.
That's a tank move.
Talking like that.
You're not gonna get.
This has been the first time where like I always enjoyed watching the games. I didn't care what our record was, but now even doing the podcast, it's like, yo, I can't see Kemba and Evan on the floor at the same time anymore. Like that is just like, it's like scratching a blackboard, like when you scratch, it's like, it just like bothers. It's just like, it doesn't seem, I can't watch it anymore.
Why they call Franklin Lakina? We got a spot for you, man.
Hell yeah, anything, man.
I don't think I would do that deal because of the negative effects that Westbrook would have on RJ.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the only reason.
Because he's not, it's
he's not gonna help.
His assists at this point, they aren't like they're not like team building assists. He's just counting. He's just get this ball, shoot it, score, get my numbers up, and that's not necessarily. I mean, it just is what it is. He's at the point where he's not a horse anymore, and you're gonna bring him in. That's a tank move. If you're gonna bring in Russell Westbrook, I mean, he's gonna have great nights here in New York, definitely, because there's not really real pressure. He's gonna get a triple double, but it's gonna be in losses, and for that, I mean, you lose with what you got. You got horses here. I mean, but it's a good trade for salary cap reasons. But I mean, I don't know.
They raised the cap, man. All these pieces are still movable contracts. So no.
Julius. His time is up.
No.
He's smacking laptops now. He was gonna beat that dude up.
His behavior is bananas. Like
he was gonna beat that dude up. Like,
and the guy was like, "Yo, you got beat on the back screen. Like, come on." And Julius like, "I don't care what that computer says."
Yeah, but he did get beat on the back screen. He got beat on the back screen like 3 plays back consecutively. Like, and it was just like, dude, like.
And the conversation was probably exactly that. Like, hey, Julius, look what's happening. Try to like determine this because this is happening a lot. I don't care what you say. You're not out there.
Yeah. He smacked the laptop. I'd be like, dude, you know how much this shit costs? Julius would have broke it on purpose. He'd have broken
bottom line is that's your leader. If that's your leader, if him and Tibbs are your leaders, we're never gonna have a good coach.
Not working.
We're never gonna have a good team.
Oh, and
we got a strategist that only cares about drop coverage defense. No one cares about drop coverage defense in the new NBA. And we got an emotionally charged leading man who shouldn't be the leading man. It's not working.
No. And he intimidates the Knicks players. Like players are scared of him. And
they all defer to him.
He's your best player. When he's your best player, when he's not even, I don't even really consider him their best player, really, at this point, because of how he's been playing as of late. And unfortunately, the NBA is a what have you done for me now league. It just is what it is. And like his attitude isn't helping the culture. RJ's play, we're wasting nights, like Wall Street said. We're wasting nights where he's dropping 36, 30, 28, 26. Like he's having these really good games that we at the start of the season, we were hoping that he would flourish offensively.
Sometimes RJ be shooting the ball a lot, right? He's a little inefficient. He was like 7 for 26. I was like, come on, RJ.
Why not? Why not? Who else is gonna shoot?
When you're down 16.
He be throwing some bullshit.
What are you doing? I don't want Kemba to shoot. You know what's crazy? Kemba don't even shoot the ball like that. He take like 6-7 shots a game and to still get Kemba out of there. Like, yo, what? He's trying to be nice. Like
It's
Jesus.
Kevin's not a shooter no more, man.
Yo.
That ankle snatching that he got
Oh,
in Denver
man,
the other
that could have
night.
been you.
That took
Imagine if that
7
was you
years.
out there.
Coach, that took like 7 years off his life. I guarantee it.
That kid is a bum. He ain't never gonna be.
The guy pointed at him.
And said, you were supposed to
who
die
that-
at
who does that?
91.
Bums.
You're dead at 86
He'll be
now.
out of the league. in a year or two.
Guys, what's going on with Harden and the Nets? They should have been Knicks.
I told you.
Oh, we
I
don't
guys should have
told
been
you.
Knicks.
Oh, I don't give a damn. Send them down south. Send them
told
somewhere
you.
where they got clubs and
I
bottle
would send
service.
them-
They're about to get out the playing game. They're like the
I
seventh. They're in
told
the
you
eighth.
that was a nightmare.
You called that
Man,
one.
That was a
Brooklyn
glass
man.
house.
I picked
You
Brooklyn
want
to
to talk about a house of cards? Well, Brooklyn and Brooklyn was on the right track. Brooklyn, I was getting nervous. I still like Caris LeVert, whatever.
Mhm.
But they were building they were getting it together. They were setting a foundation, and they blew it all up. They blew it all up for star power. And James Harden. Did you see the interview that he had the other day? He said that the Migos used to go to, when he was in Houston, the Migos used to go to his house because he had a studio, and they would record all night. So Harden used to have a choice: go upstairs and go to bed because tomorrow I got practice, tomorrow I got a game. Let the Migos record all night. But he's like, nah, these guys are creating magic. These guys are artists, and you just gotta be in the room while they're doing what they do. And so, so he's down there until 4 a.m, drinking and smoking and chilling.
Right. Yeah.
Crazy.
Well,
Crazy.
And coaches is coaching his kids how to take the contact in the air and land on your face and do the pancake flop.
We hit first. You feel me?
So,
We punching teams.
Can we talk about? Let's talk about the NBA. Let's talk about the All-Star selections, because I feel like that was it was curious this year. So just a little bit of insight. So we had, the starters were chosen, and then we had you had the bench was chosen by the coaches. So the starters choose the fans choose the starters, and the coaches choose the bench. The interesting thing that happened was that Golden State used social media and BTS to sway China into voting for Andrew Wiggins, and he ended up being voted a starter. Okay. I would say he was solid. I don't know if he would have even got chosen to play on the bench this year, but he played a solid, he had a solid season for the most part. But there was some interesting, it was, I don't know. Fred VanVleet made it. I don't know. Darius Garland made it.
A guy that we could have got for the Knicks.
Yes. Yeah.
Zach LaVine.
Zach LaVine made it. Shout out to DeMar DeRozan as a starter.
Another guy we could have got for the Knicks.
Shout out to him, man. Because
talking about alternate universes, there's an alternate universe where we get Lonzo Ball and
DeMar DeRozan.
And DeMar DeRozan. And where would we be? We'd probably be number 4 in the East.
Knowing Tibbs, he would have messed it up, man.
So you look at, oh my God, it's crazy, man. But I guess the question of the night to you guys: who do you feel was an all-star snub, and who do you feel didn't really deserve to make it? And if let me know if you need a recap of the starting lineup. But let's start with you, Ed. Who do you feel got snubbed on the?
Here, let me see the lineup.
Gotcha. I'm pulling it up now because I'm pulling up. It's weird. I'm pulling up 2022 All-Star rosters, and it's giving me all types of craziness.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so we have.
Okay, I got it.
So you got it, because I got so in the West we got. No, I got the votes. Ugh.
All right.
Sorry,
in the West, we got Curry, we got Doncic, we got Paul George, we got LeBron, we got my man from Denver. We got Ja. We got Chris Paul. We got Booker.
Yep.
We got AD. No, this ain't it. I don't got the right one.
So
I ain't got the right
player
one.
pool, I'll tell you guys Team LeBron and Team Durant. So Team LeBron is, well, I can't even tell who's who, but we'll just say the one roster has Giannis, Steph Curry, DeMar DeRozan, Joel Embiid, Jokic, John Morant, Andrew Wiggins, Trae Young, Devin Booker, Jimmy Butler, and Luka Doncic. Then the other roster has Darius Garland, Rudy Gobert, Draymond Green, James Harden, Zach LaVine, Chris Middleton, Donovan Mitchell, Chris Paul, Jason Tatum, Karl Anthony Towns, Fred VanVleet. My question is, you know, people like people really like one of the I mean, I was talking about it in our chat. And I was just like, dude, like Karl Anthony Towns. When really the guy on Minnesota isn't Karl Anthony Towns anymore. It's last year's number one.
Anthony Edwards.
He's the guy on that team. Like
he's a highlight.
Yeah, he's like the guy. Like he's the one that, I mean, I don't know. I felt Andrew Wiggins should not have made. I mean, it's just he's a social media.
Don't hate the player, hate the game, man.
I'm not hating. I just
but like that. Like I mean,
look at the stats. Yeah, look at the stats. It's not.
But there was injury reserves.
Okay.
LaMelo Ball made it.
Take away fan votes.
LaMelo Ball should not have been a replacement though.
No, you gotta give people their credit. Like social media driven generation, things like this are gonna happen, and he's the anomaly. We gotta have one. Like it can't be all sunshines and rainbows.
I think it was
gotta be a weird pick.
I think it was just as bad as when Anthony Hardaway didn't even play a game all season and then got voted a starter.
No, he didn't make it.
Commercials.
Anthony Davis didn't make it,
but he's been hurt. I mean, it's you know.
Jaylen Brown should have made it, man.
Jaylen Brown should have made it.
Is LeBron not there? Why are you saucy? Oh, because he's the captain.
Yeah, he's one of the captains. Look, but Jaylen Brown got snubbed, and that's not fair. Do you guys think RJ got snubbed?
Yes, easily.
RJ Barrett.
RJ Barrett,
boy. What?
RJ Barrett should not have been on the All-Star team. The All-Star team.
RJ we acknowledge.
Not one New York Knicks this season should be on the All-Star team. Sorry. RJ had a.
He got hot at the right time.
But I'm just saying,
voting study, he knows.
Should go. I mean,
yeah, he should have went. His stats are legit, man. His stats are legit. And you know who else's stats are legit?
Who?
Karl Anthony Towns' stats are legit.
Yeah, Karl Anthony Towns.
Karl Anthony Towns is a top 10 PER player.
But I
told you, I love
Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, well, actually, you know what? No, let me correct myself. They're not empty stats because they have a better record than the Knicks. So,
Minnesota. You got to watch out for Minnesota. Yeah. Minnesota next year is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Until they flop.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't believe in them.
I don't believe in them with Karl Anthony Towns on that team.
No, man. That's good, man. Karl Anthony Towns could ball.
I think
he's Julius Randle, just with less attitude. Like
no.
What? Like how? Like okay, what has his talent gotten him this far?
Who? Karl Anthony Towns?
Well, he shoots. He's a volume 3 shooter for a center, which is
yeah.
He can't protect the paint.
Doesn't play defense. But he grabs rebounds.
Only thing is he's 7 feet. You know what I'm saying? He's pretty athletic.
Yeah.
Yeah. His talent level is higher than Julius's, but
he needs the ball though. He needs the ball. He needs a point guard to pass him the ball.
He got his boy, man. Him and D'Angelo supposed to be like two pieces in the pie. It was supposed to be a perfect pairing.
D'Angelo hasn't played. He missed a lot of games this season. Next year, I think this is gonna be.
Next year. Shout out to the next.
I'll tell you what. Karl Anthony Towns is going to have a lot of pressure on himself next year because this is going to be the best team that he played. It's going to be the most complete team that he ever played in. And, and he could be a centerpiece in that team. Minnesota's going to be a problem. If you around the league, you better be careful with Minnesota.
Yeah, they're going to be a problem.
Better be careful with the Knicks, man. We building chemistry. Like that's it. 4 years in the rotation forever. Yeah.
4 in the rotation.
That's it.
Oh my God.
1 year in RJ.
Listen, man. I don't know what to tell you, but I mean, listen.
I think Miles Bridges got snubbed, man. He averaged 19 points.
There's a couple of guys.
If you got Wiggins at 18, I think you gotta. I mean, let's keep it a buck. Right?
Wiggins is the fan vote. There's no debating fan votes.
I want to look at. I just want to go back for a minute, real quick, with you guys. I want to look at the Lakers game on Saturday. I feel like when you got guys, you got to look at the tape. The Lakers, they were playing hard. And I mean, I don't know, man. You gotta see, look at the outlet to LeBron. He shoots.
Oh, that's not Russ.
This
I
is
right. I think when you got a team like this beating you, you gotta evaluate your life. You gotta evaluate your life and just think about, But that Lakers team is tough. I mean, you got a bunch of guys out there. I mean,
They're trying.
Look at Russ. Look at Russ bring the ball up.
Nah, that's a bucket. That can't be all right.
Look at that.
No, that ain't Russ. He don't do that either.
Okay, AD to LeBron and his scores. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, Heck. I told Ed a couple months ago. I said, "Yo, Ed, we're not gonna be able to play basketball forever, man. Let's start looking at golf, man. Let's start working on our golf swing."
You see those guys right there?
I'm playing basketball forever. And I'm like, Ed, this is what you ought to be doing. I don't want to do this.
Yes.
Look at this.
That's what I'm going to be doing.
Look at
That's what I'm going to be doing.
Boom. See? Tell you. These guys are serious, man. I think, the Knicks were not going to beat this team. But, they gave them their best shot. And they won in overtime. Look at this drive. Whoa, look at that. Crazy. Look at LeBron.
Man.
Anyhow, great show tonight, fellas. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to the gang, Wall Street, Ed Dollars, Coach B.
Great job.
Man, I mean, honestly speaking, man, we got a lot. It's gonna be a tough couple weeks. I think once the trade deadline settles down and when the dust settles, everybody in social media is talking about, can we trade tips?
By tomorrow, we'll know what's gonna happen for the rest of the season. If we make a move, if we don't make a move or we make a move, and what kind of move it is, that's gonna determine what we are and what we're gonna be surviving. So next week's episode is gonna be epic.
What
Do not trade Cam Reddish. I repeat, do not trade Cam Reddish.
What would you guys' reactions be?
Trade for Ben Simmons. I'll be pissed, man.
Stop. Don't say that.
If it was for Russell Westbrook.
It'd be pointless. It's pointless. But a lot of people are saying that.
Honestly, if we could condense what we have as far as veteran contracts, fine. Don't trade anybody young. Package those veteran contracts, and so we can consolidate our rotation a little bit.
But that's the problem, right?
Give guys.
Other teams want the young guys. They're calling for Cam Reddish. They're calling for Grimes, specifically Grimes, Cam Reddish, quickly, RJ. They're not looking for Randall. They're not looking for Kemba.
Because Randall's damaged goods right now. I mean, look at what he's giving you. He's giving you, 17 and 8 and a bunch of attitudes.
We may have to get rid of one of those guys. We may have to attach a draft pick or a young guy.
If I could trade Julius Randle, I'll give you Quentin Grimes, man.
What happens if they trade Obi?
Listen.
I may cancel the season. I'm like, yo, listen, I'm gonna be off the show for the next 3 weeks. And
you gotta take a break, mental health break.
I might bring a picket sign to the front of the garden and just say,
Julius for pastrami sandwich.
I can see that happening though. I can see that happening, man, because
I gotta get out. I gotta go. That's a break.
All right.
I'm closing early. I'm out of here.
We'll talk.
Fellas, it's been real.
All right, boys.
Next week.
Bye, y'all.
Later, Hex.
Same
Just.Hek.
channel.
Thanks, man.